Hello, my dear. Rhonda Constant, your favorite hometown medium, physical energy healer, oracle card advisor, paranormal investigator, voice for your loved ones. How are you today? So, I don't think I've done a reading for you before, so I like to explain real quick how it works. I see, hear, feel, sense, know. They talk to me, but they also show me pictures, and I call it spiritual charades. Try to describe the picture the best that I can. They never waste a message. There is always a reason for whatever they show or say. So if it doesn't make any sense now, just keep it in mind because you'll either see it later, remember it later, or somebody else will validate it for you later and go, I know what she's talking about. This is non-exact science. We communicate the best way we can. Sometimes you got to stretch it outside the box a little bit. Um, yeah, forgot the rest of my speech. Anyway, we're going to talk. Just as I was going to say, we're going to talk to Grandma today, she goes, Mama. She's calling herself Mamie or Mimi or something like that. Now, we kind of stink at names, so you might have to stretch that name outside the box. So if she had a nickname or something she called herself that was like a nickname for Grandma or something, that kind of feels like what it is. She's talking about sweet potato pie. I don't know if this is something she cooked, you like, she liked. Don't know how that fits in for sure. I know it sounds a little vague and I hate doing that, but it's her show. So know when you get the smell of a fresh sweet potato pie, and I don't imagine too many people make that anymore. Haven't run into one for quite a while. Something my grandma would do. Um, when you get that smell, you could see somebody with one in a movie, in a magazine, see a picture of one, walk through Walmart and there could be a sweet potato pie sitting there. I don't know if they make those, but when you smell it or see it, that's a sign from her. Always ask them for something unique for just you and her. So when she sends you signs, validate her, acknowledge her, tell her you love her, and ask her to bring you more. Give her permission to bring you more if you want more. So, okay, so I don't know how young your kids are. She's showing herself holding a baby, a pretty small baby. And she also has her hand out and she's holding the hand of I want to say little girl. And the little girl's looking at her like, listening like to everything she says. And I don't know how many kids you have, how small they are. On most kids before the age of younger than 10, see them, hear them, interact with them, no big deal. It's when they get to be like 9 or 10 and they start going, people are going to say I'm crazy if I tell them that I see my grandma or great grandma or whatever she is to them, and that I talk to her and then I play with her. So then they start shutting down and not talking about it anymore. So know that if you see one of your kids like with a cookie in their hand or even imaginary cookie, it doesn't matter, and they're holding it up to something that you can't see, that's because they're interacting with grandma or whatever she is to them. Because they see her, they play with her. This girl's totally fascinated with her, not like an obsession type thing. I don't want to creep you out, but like totally trusts her, totally loves her. So you might pay attention if you have a girl that's fairly young. I mean, she's walking, I hate to guess what age, 6-ish. I stink at names. I stink at guessing ages. So anyway, around that age, 5-ish, and you might hear her talking in the other room. You might hear her mention um, Grandma's name. You might Like she's sitting there having a conversation, or she might just bring her up out of the blue, and maybe she didn't even know her. So know that at least these two children are interacting with her, and this is her show. It's up to her to show what she wants us to know. As far as coming to him in his dreams, she's kind of saying yes, but it's like a very faint dream. Those are dreams. When you get a true visitation from heaven, a true one, I had one probably 8 years ago. I still remember every word, every color, everything that was said, pictures on the walls. That's because, when you have a dream and you wake up and it kind of starts to fade and goes away within a few seconds, true visitation is there. It stays there because it wasn't a dream. She says there's a chair. Now, I feel like she's talking about your house, but it doesn't have to be. There's a chair, and it's soft, and it's cushy, and it rocks. And she used to love to rock babies in it. So if you still have this chair, listen for it to squeak or creak, or it might even move a little bit, or you might have something like a piece of paper laying on it and it might fall off, or anything like that. They usually people will come to me and say, "Oh, come cleanse my house. My house is haunted." And I'll go, "And it's grandma." I go, "It's just grandma trying to let you know that she's here, but not trying to do it in a spooky, creepy way." Your loved ones always come to visit. They always pop in to check on you, whether you know it or not, whether they make themselves known or not. I don't. Okay, I don't know how old your son is, but she's showing that she held this baby. She gave it a kiss on the left temple, or the left side of the forehead, before it came here. And that happens, as far as I know, every time, but at least most of the time, that a loved one will have your child's soul, your child's whatever, before it gets here. And if you would lose one, they get them after they leave. So earlier she was calling me honey sugar pie, and then she kept saying darling, darling. Kept calling me darling. She's a very sweet lady. Okay, she says she's there with her grandma. Now, it could be a great grandma. So if it's her grandma and she's your grandma, you guys' grandma, you may not have known this other lady, but surely she would have talked about her, because she's very, very comfortable, very happy to be with her again. And they seem almost like two peas in a pod. So it's almost like it went from her grandma to her to you guys, like as far as being close. But she's like very, very similar with this grandma, if that helps any. I'm not going to ask for names because, like I said, we stink at names. Don't know why. But yeah, her grandma. Anyway, and it's like they're cooking up a storm and they're just sitting around, relaxing together. Grandma has the remote. I'm not sure her grandma's happy about it. Well, she's off puttering around. But for some reason, she wanted you to know that she's with her grandma, and she's very happy about it. Now she's talking about oatmeal cookies, and I feel like there's raisins in them too. Oatmeal raisin cookies. Maybe not for sure. Oatmeal cookies. So no, again, smell. You might have just eaten one. She might be validating that it's her. I usually ask them to validate at least a couple of things so you know for sure it's them. And it's up to her to pick what she's going to validate. Or you might be getting ready to make some. Maybe that was her favorite thing to make you. I don't know. Somewhere along that. I never know for sure. Unless she wants to tell me. So again, the smell, seeing it somewhere, the fact that you might have just eaten one. There's their signs are usually subtle and you don't pick them up unless you're aware that, oh, that's her. Or if she pops into your head when you hear something or see something, just validate her. Just, it doesn't hurt to believe. She says, you tell my boy how much I love him, how proud I am of him. I would like to take credit for teaching him what love is for your family, what togetherness is. I would like to hope that I was a big contributor in that with him. And I want to thank you for being good to my son. He deserves it after all the stuff he went through. So please know that I hold a very, very special place in my heart for him. She's kind of giggling. She goes, it's kind of like one of those things where I go, Mom always liked you best. Mom always liked you best. She says she tried not to let it show too much. She's proud of all of you. She says you have a great family. And know if you hear a door in your house that kind of, she's showing it like it's not shut, it's not open, but she's moving it back and forth. And it's creaking. It's kind of got a creak or a noise to it. So now if you hear that noise, you could be sitting in the living room watching TV. You go, the heck was that door squeaking? Or you could, like, she's not showing me which room it is, which door it is. Let's just say it's the bathroom door, and you come out of the bathroom and the door's sitting a certain way, and then you go back later and the door's moved a little bit different, and nobody's been there to move it. So again, validate her, acknowledge her, tell her you love her, ask her, give her permission to come into your home and bring you signs. That's totally up to you. She says she feels like your life is kind of hectic, but in a good way. It's not hectic in a bad way, like, oh my gosh. You're busy. Your life is full. And she likes that. She says, keep up the good work. And she's talking to you, not her son, grandson. And she's saying something about a parade. You're creating your own parade. How many kids do you have? How many kids are around you guys? Because She's making me feel like there's a whole bunch of them. You're creating your own parade. And they're all your kids or stepkids, whatever they are. There's kids. There's kids all around. You're creating your own parade with your family. And she's got a huge smile on her face. She feels like somebody, I just like to go up and just get a big hug from. Very sweet lady. Still is. Okay, she's going like this. I always tell people, anytime you have a problem, they can hear you, they can see you. I promise you 1,000%. You just can't hear and see them. Talk to her all you want to. If you have a problem that she would have been good at helping with when she was here, I always tell people, if Uncle Joe didn't have a pot to piss in and he's up there, don't ask him for financial help down here. Because he didn't understand how it worked. It was something that she understood that she would be good at helping you with, even if it's just listening. Talk to her. Promise you she can hear you. She loves you all very much, and she's reaching her arms out, and like she's getting the brood. There's a bunch in her arms. It's not just you two, and it's not just a couple of little kids. It's several, and she's kind of like a mother hen, bringing the brood in. Just remember, I love you. And then she goes like this again. She says, I'll be waiting to hear from you. And with that, she's going to leave. She's she's kind of got a swing to her hips as she leaves. And she says she's sashaying. She says, God dang it, I can't even talk. New teeth. She says, good grief, Rhonda, stop it. Sashing. Well, that's not it. That's not it. That's not the right spelling. That's sashing. Shaying. I don't freaking know. I can spell, but that's sashaying. Anyway, her little butt's, well, it's plump. It's plump. And she's kind of got a wiggle to her as she's leaving. She likes it. She's blowing you kisses. She says, all of you, not just you. And with that, she's gone. Much love to you, my dear. Thank you for allowing me to be her voice. She's a very sweet lady. Still is. Rhonda Constant, your favorite hometown medium, physical energy healer, oracle card advisor, paranormal investigator, voice for your loved ones.